check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hey listeners, ever wonder what it would be like to sell everything and travel the country at the tender age of 50? Well, with our last kid off to college and the ability to now work remotely, we've decided to do just that. So we're selling the house, loading up the dog, and hitting every city from California to Florida. We're scouring the country for a new place to call home and dragging you into every restaurant, Airbnb, and tourist trap we encounter along the way. This is the Skip Town All-Stars podcast.
What's up, listeners? Welcome back for another episode of Skip Town All-Stars. Hi there.
Hi.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Good.
My voice is still like messed up. I don't know what the issue is.
Yeah.
I think I talk too much. What do you think?
No comment.
That is a loaded question.
It is a loaded question.
You better only answer that way one way.
There's no correct answer to that.
There is a correct answer.
There's not. No, honey, you don't talk enough. I'd love to hear more.
Best answer.
Anyway, we are in Oklahoma City. We have a ton to tell you about our latest adventures. We have to start out, though, with Roswell, New Mexico. It has always been on my list. I'm a huge sci-fi fan. I'm a huge alien conspiracist.
It is true.
It's actually filtered down to a couple of my kids. They like that genre. Mia, not so much.
She's smart.
She is smart, but
she knows it's nonsense.
So anyway, Roswell, New Mexico was a bullseye for me for a long time to hit, and we hit Roswell. I would say Roswell did not hit us. I mean, there was a Roswell, like welcome to Roswell sign, and you could see sort of cheeky hat tips to aliens at certain hotels, at the McDonald's, I think, and all that other stuff. We were going to an Airbnb that night, so we got off the main drag kind of right away, getting to our place where we were staying because we got in late, right? Did we get in late? We got in like at dusk. Yeah. And so it wasn't until the next morning where we were like, okay, let's go tackle Roswell.
We were excited about to see some aliens.
And it was like, I don't know. It was like 15 Napa Auto Parts stores and,
it's so true.
It's like a 7-Eleven that was junky and,
look, it's like I disagree with him. I would tell someone to go because you probably should go, just to say you have been there. Is it worth like flying in and driving and all that? I'm not sure. I guess it would probably be worth it if you're going to go during the UFO convention, because Roswell holds a UFO convention. Yeah. We found out every year. That would be fun because then everybody's dressed up. There is one site that we both really, really enjoyed. And it was the UFO Museum. Yeah. And that seemed to have a lot of facts.
She's doing air quotes for those of you listening right now.
That museum is really cool. So if you're going to do anything and, you are going to go to Roswell, that's the spot. 100%.
But definitely pack a lunch because there's a lot of reading there. Like seriously, they have tables where you can sit down and peruse the materials. I think you can listen to the audio cassette tapes. I think they have a mode to do that. You can't obviously check anything out of the museum, but you could sit there and while away your whole day going on a deep dive of,
it's a rabbit hole.
Yeah, exactly. Close encounters of whatever kind you choose. So we left Denise's favorite spot in Santa Fe and I just booked this thing on the fly. And I was like, you know what? This is $80. The cleaning fee is this, the cleaning fee. Oh my God, people, you definitely get what you pay for when you're booking an Airbnb.
They're hearing $80.
This thing was like all in with cleaning fees, and they took the dog because we weren't going to ruin anything in this house. It wasn't a manufactured house. I mean, somebody did build this thing by hand at some point, but but we got there and we're like, this thing is like it's like on a dirt patch. Like there's no
grass.
There were no sunflowers. There was no corn. The lady who was responding to me on Airbnb she was super nice, super friendly. Anything you need, you just let us know, all this other stuff. And there were like once or twice, it was like a God bless you, and I was like, okay, like, she's a sweet old lady. And I know old ladies always say, God bless you. I grew up in a little town and, they're just very liberal with that. Jesus loves you. And, and he does. Denise goes in with her phone and she comes out white as a sheet. I mean, there's no joking around at all. She was like, how much was this place? And I'm like, $80. And she was like, yeah, like we should have got a better place. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, go inside. First thing you notice walking into this house where there were little strips of paper like taped to everything with like multiple exclamation points and like long descriptions of a flashlight. Well, no, we got to talk about
it. It was the most frightening home I have ever walked into.
It took a minute to digest what was going on. I'm not going to lie. We walked to the front table, and of course, there's a Bible laid out. And so, anyway, so I read it, and if it were just the Bible without all the other Bible verses all over, like pasted to the walls. It was like computer printed paper.
It was so frightening. If anyone's ever seen the film Midsummer, then you know where I am coming from right now. I felt like I was in Midsummer because when you walk into any place, whether it's a home or a business or a garage, like I don't care where you walk into. When it's overloaded with Jesus, that immediately says to me, the devil is present.
Oh my God.
No, I'm not kidding. I didn't close the Bible.
No.
I was so scared.
I absolutely forbid Denise to close that Bible. I was scared myself.
When I worked at Our Lady Grace, there's always a warm, fuzzy feeling.
Yeah, it's like everybody hugs you.
There was no warm, fuzzy feeling in this house. And so I couldn't figure it out. And because I couldn't figure it out, I just wanted to leave. There were stacks and stacks of spiral notebooks of people saying how much they love staying there. And to me, those are all people that are dead and missing right now. Anyway, so that was our first night into Roswell. And to me, I thought, oh, if this is like how Roswell is going to be, he's going to poop his pants.
Yeah. But it turns out that was the
scariest part of Roswell. The next morning in my head, I just kept thinking, we have to get out of here as soon as possible because they're going to come up on us. Like they're going to, and I just had a feeling. We can't leave here 18 minutes late.
No, they're going to. They're coming to clean the place.
Oh no, I did not think they were coming to clean. They wanted to meet us. And so I'm getting all of my stuff and he yells out to me, hurry, they're going to want to meet us. When he said that,
okay, so
I was like, literally, I was in the bedroom and my eyes went.
Oh my God, this place.
It was like, my eyes just shot open and I was like, he's thinking what I'm thinking. They're going to come and meet us.
Yep. We had it was like an early checkout. Like they wanted you out by 9 or 10. I was like, we were out of here at 8:55. Like
it's true.
There's no way.
I think it was 10 o'clock.
And I did look as I was checking out, like I was reading the checkout instructions and it did say in there, hey, and if you want, we'd love to meet you or whatever. And I was like, oh my God. And it's just like, I had this vein like popping in my forehead and I was like, I have to get her out of here. Like she's so slow moving in the morning.
I am.
And she's going to be dragging ass. And then this lady's going to come over and want to chat me up. And I'm going to have to fake tell her how great a night we had.
Yep.
Just so I could be sure that we got out of there.
In one piece.
Cut to me basically pushing Denise all her bags into the van and it's like
at 8:55
and mud flew as we pulled out of this place. Like we are out.
He was like, hurry.
I know.
He literally yelled, hurry. I don't want to meet them.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It's a shame. It's such a shame because it's like, I'm sure she's such a nice lady in person.
No, she's not. That review showed she wasn't.
Yeah, well, in the end, she revealed her true colors.
Plus, she doesn't know how to spell. So she had a sign up that said, no excessive drinking. ACCESS. And I was like, you're going to give me rules?
We access drinking all the time. It's no problem. No problem, lady. We can access that drinking.
We got this. So that was our Roswell experience. Best part, Airbnb.
Yeah. You had a crappy breakfast, a crappy night's sleep, and now we're going to go to some crappy tourist attractions. So
I was happy to be alive, though. Obviously, we talked a little bit about at the top about going into the International UFO Museum. But the one thing I do want to mention really quick is that there was a gentleman there by the name of Dennis, who's a firm believer. He actually dug on the site where the alien ship supposedly crashed, and he was just chock full of information. I actually did an interview with him, and I'll be posting some of that on my Instagram, which is Skiptown Denise, and also Skiptown All Stars. Dennis was really quite the character. He does a 1-hour talk at the UFO museum, and do not ask Dennis any questions that question what happened. He gets very upset.
He's very protective of the people, the witnesses, everybody who saw, this crash landing. Dennis is very, very protective of them. He was actually the one that told us that you can no longer get to the crash site because an individual bought. So the crash site itself is actually on government land, but the entire site, yes, but
how
the
do you
entire
know that?
Because he told us that.
No, that's not true.
The entire surrounding area, as I understand it, was purchased by a private landowner who they can't identify.
No. Here's what he said. He said that property was always privately held, and that a new person just bought it and took down all the signs and wiped the internet clean.
Yeah, so now you don't even know. Like now there's not even a no trespassing sign.
But what he said was that new private owner is really the U.S. government.
Yeah.
That's
the conspiracy
what he said.
theory is that the U.S. government basically pays somebody to be the owner on record of this property.
Yes, that's what he said.
Yeah.
So anyway, he was very interesting, and I would say that was the best part of our trip.
And do not tell him it was a weather balloon.
Oh.
It was not a weather balloon.
Absolutely not. I'm really happy we met Dennis. So I don't feel like the trip was wasted. I feel like we went to Roswell. And by the way, I was thinking about doing Roswell on the way to Texas, but I have to be honest with you, a listener when I was in Utah was the one who said, "Oh, you have to hit Roswell at some point." And when she said that, I was like, "Okay, I'm definitely going." Yeah. So all that to say, like, we really do listen to our listeners. If it's on the way and we can visit, we definitely will. And Roswell was one of those that I had in my head about visiting, but it really honestly wasn't until my listener said, "You have to do Roswell," that I was like, "We're going." And in the end, I'm glad I went. Again, if I were to recommend it, me personally, I would recommend it possibly during like the UFO convention. Although Dennis did tell us, was it 11,000 people descended?
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
So it'd be, okay, that Airbnb is more than $88 at.
Oh, yeah, for sure. She's charging at least $97.
All right. So that was our Roswell experience. Are you still a believer?
Oh, yeah, I'm totally a believer still. I looked at some of those files and, I mean,
we're not starting.
What makes me believe is this. There was such a rush by the government to shut people up. It tells me there was something there,
Okay. I don't want to seem small-minded, but I am so the person that like, I can't believe it until I see it. So I have a hard time with that. But then like when I think about Roswell or Area 51, like what is the big cover up? Like to me, that's so insane. Like whenever there's such a big cover up about it, there's something. I mean, there's obviously rumors that they were testing like something, the government was testing something. Well, if that were the case, wouldn't people have come out already at this point and said, "Look, we were testing like, a new kill missile." Like, I mean, like you would have heard something. So,
what the hell is a kill missile?
I don't know. You know what the government makes.
Go on.
Anyway, so, but nothing's ever come out. Like, I don't know. It's weird. And then, sometimes on people's deathbeds, generals will say, "It was true. There were aliens."
Oh,
so then when you hear that, you're like, I don't know. I kind of am leaning toward it. I really am. Like going there, I was like, this is crazy, stupid stuff, but let's go. But I don't want to seem stupid. Like How could there not be other life forms? So to me, I'm like, okay, I got to be logical about it. I have a friend who, and this is a friend, I mean, somebody I've known for many, many years. And if I heard the story from you and you said my friend, or I heard it from someone else, they said my friend, I'm like, okay, whatever. I would have just stopped listening. But because it's my friend,
your friend.
yeah, I know it's true. He was telling me that he was driving, he lives in Florida, and he was driving down some road.
That
And
explains a few things. Go on.
any case, there were people pulled off on the side of the road, and there was a bright light in the sky, and he pulled off on the side of the road, and he asked a girl, he's like, what's going on here? And she goes, I don't know. She said, all of us are looking at the same thing. It's like some crazy bright light in the sky. And he said they looked, it disappeared, it went away, and they all got in their car. And when he got in his car, it was 3 hours later.
Ooh.
So he thinks he was abducted. Like he said, where did 3 hours go? He's like, that's impossible. And he's not a liar. I've known him for years. He truly thinks he was abducted. Where did the 3 hours go? If it was an alien, maybe something happened in that moment and time was forwarded so quickly for those people that were looking at that bright light. Was he abducted? Could that have been? I don't know. All I know is that something happened, and that's not very explainable.
That's not very explainable. But, there are plenty of guys that leave Chili's and they're driving home. And
I know you hear about it all the time.
Yeah.
And they see a bright light, and then their friends
Yeah.
don't believe them and all that.
No, yeah, they see a bright light, and then the next thing you know, they're waking up on the side of the road, their butt hurts, and then
Oh my God.
they have to drive home and tell their wife where they've been, and
What alien abducted them?
I
and
mean,
probed them.
it could have been Mary Lou's house, but at the same time, it could have been an alien abduction. You never know.
Okay,
It doesn't explain the butt hurting,
It
but
always takes a terrible turn with you.
we've really kicked this dead horse called Roswell. I think it's probably time to wrap it up. There's no point in doing a top 5 for me because we already talked about our top 1. My top 2, the Americano at Stellar Coffee, and then Dennis at the International UFO Museum.
Well, I don't have a top 5 because I didn't eat there. So I would say, well, I did. I had a horrible breakfast, but so I left there hungry.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dennis as well is my number 1 for Roswell.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, there you have it. There's our top 1.
Oh my God, if we didn't have Dennis, we'd have nothing.
I'd be so angry right now. I'd be so livid.
We
But
have nothing.
we had Dennis. Yeah.
All right, there's
There
our
you go.
Roswell experience.
We're done with you, Roswell. Tell him, babe.
Give me a second.
It's our slogan, honey.
I know.
It's our slogan.
Empty nest, full tank.
Now we're done.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.